recently picked up the game Vampyr for PS4. It's also released on the Xbox One and PC. Vampyr is a game that takes place in 1918 London during the Spanish flu outbreak, but you play as a doctor named Dr. Jonathan Reed, who is a newly turned vampire. He's come back from the dead, but he's also a doctor, so he's trying to help the citizens in a flu-ravaged city while also embracing the inner demon within himself. Vampyr is a game I was really looking forward to. It's a game that really looked fun from the trailers that I saw, and then I watched some gameplay and I got a little worried, especially where I paid for this game almost at full price. I managed to get this at a discount at Best Buy due to the Gamers Club, but it got worried because the frame rate definitely didn't look right, but it was because the gameplay that I was watching was done on the PC. I can say that I think the reviews for this game are on par. This is not a great game. It's a fun game, but it's not anything special, you know? It was something that I was hoping would be special. From time to time, I'll take a break from movies to review video games. And I figured I had played Detroit Become Human, I had done God of War. I figured by now it's too late to review those games, so I was like, I just finished Vampyr today, so why not just review Vampyr? And I have some notes here. What did I like about Vampyr? Well, I mean, it's fun gameplay. I mean, you're a vampire. You go around London, and you start doing vampire stuff around London. You can choose whether or not to embrace people, turn them into a vampire, or let them live. If you kill them and turn them into a vampire, you get experience points. If you don't kill them, you don't get really any experience points. This is an aspect of the game that I kind of found really hard as far as XP, because it was really hard to come by experience points in this game. And in order to get a lot of experience points, you had to turn people into a vampire or just kill these people. And I'm not talking about the I'm not talking about the characters or the enemies that you encounter along your way. I'm talking about ordinary characters in this game that you can actually go up to and hit X and talk to. You can mesmerize them if you hit I think it's L1 to mesmerize. L2 tells you the information, what level mesmerize you need to mesmerize them. So that mesmerizing is pretty cool, because when you mesmerize somebody, you bring them into like a dark alley, and then you can embrace them. And that gives you all the XP, but you gotta be careful, because if you embrace and turn too many people into a vampire, the district will soon suffer. Like, for instance, there was this one district. A section of this game takes place at this hospital called Pembroke Hospital. Dr. Reed, the guy you play as, is actually hired by the head of the hospital, Dr. Edgar Swansea, to treat people and find out a little bit about this vampiric epidemic that's going on. And I killed everybody at the hospital without even knowing it. Like, I just went onto the the character screen, and I was like, oh my god, all these people are dead. I embraced them all. I only did it so I could get experience points and I could level up my character. But I was just like, once that happens, once a district goes below, you have like a certain level for districts. It's like if it goes below critical status, the district turns into complete and utter chaos, and there's enemies everywhere, which I think is actually pretty cool. It's kind of a hack and slash game. There's certain different weapons that you can get. I mean, there's some weapons that stun, there's some weapons that if you stun, the more you stun people, once you get the stun bar all the way down, you can suck their blood. If you don't have a weapon that stuns, try to get a weapon that stuns at least so you can get some blood, especially early on in the game where you don't have a lot of blood. Your blood bar is not very high. You can definitely level up your character. You can give him a lot more health. You can give him a lot more stamina. You can allow his blood capacity to be ginormous, where the blood bar, yeah, your blood capacity can be very high. The voice acting in this game is top-notch, too. I think you got some really great voice acting in this game. I don't know any of the actors, but the voice acting is really good. The guy who voices Jonathan Reed is really good. Lady Ashbury is really good. Lord Redgrave, that guy is really good. All of the voice acting is top-notch. The story is really engrossing, too. I like these type of games, and sometimes when they do this in movies, these types of movies, when they have a vampiric epidemic set against some historical event, in this case the 1918 outbreak of the Spanish flu in London. I think that that's really cool. I think there was another game called The Order 1886, and that game didn't really mesh the supernatural elements well with the crime syndicate elements. This game does a really good job of meshing both the vampiric elements and the realistic, oh, these people are sick elements. You know, the stuff like that, the outbreak, the Spanish flu stuff. It meshes those two really well together. And you get some really cool vampire powers in this. Like, obviously you can suck blood, but there's this one vampire power where it's like, you press L2 and R2 at the same time, and there's like, it's a beast, it kind of unleashes a beast inside of you, so it's just like this crazy move where you go back and forth into the enemy, but you're hitting him at the same time. There's also this vampire claw that slashes somebody, but that drains a little bit of blood, which I think that's cool. Your vampire power should drain a little bit of. There's another one where you can heal yourself. You can use your blood to heal yourself. If you're hit in combat, if you're injured in combat, if your health bar goes down, hit L1. Never get rid of that power. That is very helpful in combat, especially against boss battles. I will talk about bosses later in this game. What didn't really work in this game for me was the graphics and the rendering. This game isn't very open world. It's an open world game, but I feel like you could have taken advantage of that more. For instance, there's no fast travel in this game. There should have been fast travel in this game, and I think it's because the world isn't as big as other open world games, but still, when I had to go, especially at the end of the game, to the other end of London, and it took me 15 minutes to get there, and it wasn't clear which path I had to go to, it could have been a lot easier if you just did a fast travel icon on your map, and you could just fast travel there. That would have made everything 100% easier. These gameplay mechanics, like I said, it's kind of just hack and slash. Square to attack, circle to evade, Y is use your secondary weapon. You can switch your weapons on the D-pad. It's your basic gameplay mechanics stuff, and you have the triggers and the bumpers for your other powers, your vampire powers. But it's your basic stuff. It's just hit a button and do that. You can't even jump in this game. You can get to high places if there's a little icon there and it says press X, but you can't even jump. You can't jump. I think that that's a big missed opportunity. I think that that's a big missed opportunity there as well. In the graphics look so last gen. It's kind of sad. Up close, your character has a beard, so the beard looks like it's this current gen, but his facial rendition looks like it's from the last generation. All the environments just seem a bit uninspired, and it just looks like something that comes off of a PS3 or an Xbox 360. And it definitely, the frame rate, at first the frame rate was killing me, because my first attack, you wake up in the game. After you bite somebody, you have to evade people, or you can start killing them. Right when I hit square to attack, there was a delay. And I was like, this game might piss me off. Luckily, it didn't. That was the only time I noticed it. But you are a little bit late at times. At times. People might notice this. You are a little late at times when it comes to attacking. And that could be a little bit bothersome to people. Now let's talk about the difficulty of this game. There is no set difficulty. You can't set it to like easy, medium, hard, or nightmare or anything. No, the difficulty of this game is based on the way you play. If you kill less people, the game, I don't know how it works, because I killed a lot of people so I could get experience points. But at the same time, I think they said the way you play and your actions depend on the difficulty of the game. So I feel like if you don't kill anybody, the harder the game is. To me, the game at times was a bit challenging, especially with the boss fights. They were frustrating, and at times, I just wanted to take my controller and be like,
this fucking boss, come the fuck! I fucking hate this game! Fuck!
That's what I wanted to do, just so you know. I didn't really throw my PS4 controller because this is the only PS4 controller that I have. I don't want to pay $60 for a new controller, so I'm not going to be like me in the old days, breaking N64 controllers because I didn't get the golden gun in GoldenEye 64, so there's that. I've learned my lesson. It's still intact. But I mean, this game, the difficulty of this game gets really frustrating, especially when it comes to boss battles, and that's really because there's not a lot of opportunities to get experience points. Experience points help you upgrade your character, and you can't get a lot of them unless if you mesmerize somebody and embrace them, or if your mission calls for you to kill somebody. That's when you can get experience points. You can't get experience points just from killing enemies along your way. You can get experience points from mesmerizing citizens and then embracing them, or you can get experience points from upgrading your weapons, which is another thing. Make sure you upgrade your weapons, because your battles are going to be harder if you don't upgrade your weapons and conserve your ammo. Definitely conserve your ammo for the boss battles. That's a big thing with this game. There's not enough experience points, and it's just all, to me, especially in the second half of this game, it's all boss fights. It's boss fight after boss fight after boss fight. Some of them are easy. Some of them are a bit more challenging. Some of them are just like, oh my god, I want to fucking kill this game! Ah! Yeah, there were a couple times where I was like that. Some of the more challenging bosses I was expecting to be harder. Some of the more easier bosses were more challenging or extremely hard. And it's just, you really have to come up with a strategy to beat these bosses. It's not something you can just be like, oh, hit and stun and then get blood. No. Make sure you conserve your ammo. Your ammo, especially for your shotguns, if you upgraded all of your shotguns almost all the way, you're golden against bosses. Just conserve your ammo for those bosses and conserve your ammo towards the end of those boss fights. Because there's not a lot of ammo you can get in this game. There's also not a lot of coins you can get in this game, the shillings. That's how you buy your stuff. There's not a lot of that lying around. But there are a lot of boss fights, and especially in the second half, I thought that there were too many boss fights. It was almost boss fight after boss fight after boss fight. This game shouldn't have even been called Vampyr. It should have just been called Boss Fight the Game. And then, not to mention, when you die or you go into another section of the map, sometimes the load screen comes up. The loading screen takes so goddamn long. It takes forever to load. It takes probably a good 25 seconds, maybe even 30 seconds. Half a minute to load in this day and age with these consoles? That's not good. Also, this game glitches. There was one point in this game where I was on a staircase and I couldn't move because he got stuck. Half his body was under the stairs. I could move, I could spin, but I couldn't, walk forward. I was like, I'm trying to evade this guy who's beating the shit out of me right now, and I can't do it. Also, this game randomly just started coming up with a loading spinning wheel. The screen would tint itself black, and it would just come up with a loading spinning wheel. I'm like, where's this coming from? And it was mostly towards the end of the game. I was like, this is telling me that the game is not finished. This game was rendered without being finished. And there was another thing where it was making these weird noises, and then all of a sudden, the voices sounded like robots. They just kind of sounded like, you want to buy something? Well, come to my store. And the voices were off, the lips weren't matching up. I hate that in movies. I hate that. I hate that. When they don't match up and then you have to pause the DVD, eject it, put it back in the tray, and then play the movie from where you were again, it's a pain in the ass. That's what happened in that scene, so I was just like, alright, well, I don't think my disc is scratched. I didn't move the console, so I checked the disc, it was fine, and then it started working. And then it's like but I only thought that this spinning wheel of death with a tinted screen that said loading, I only thought that was because my internet went down. No, I experienced that after my internet went back up. This game, to me, it could have been something special. It's definitely a fun game. I had fun playing it. I'm glad I played it. I'm glad I beat it. I'm glad I stuck with it, because I did have fun playing it. It's got a great story. It's got a great setting. The characters I really like. I really like the main antagonist. But there's just too much there that had so much potential, and sometimes the game doesn't feel like it's done. You know, it's not finished rendering. The graphics look so last generation, and it's just boss fights. It's boss fight after boss fight. I am going to give Vampyr a 7 out of 10. Letters for movies, numbers for games. That's how I'm going to roll. Guys, thank you for watching my review for the Vampyr video game. It's a really interesting game. I'd say check it out, but I would say wait for it to go down to at least $40. I wouldn't get this for a full $60. I got it for $48. But I wouldn't get it for a full $60. It's definitely fun. It's definitely something worth checking out. I think you'll be interested in playing it. It's just, there's some aspects of it that really didn't work for me and kind of pissed me off. But I enjoy playing it. I hope you guys enjoy playing it if you get that opportunity. Thank you for watching my review of Vampyr. I want to do some more video game reviews in the future. These are actually kind of fun. That was a really fun, in-depth conversation. So, thank you for watching. You guys are the best. I will leave all my links to my social media accounts in the description below. My name is Alex Madden, a certified G and a bona fide stud.